Welcome to the Ugly Truth. Such is life with a child under the age of 18. We have illness once again.
Oh, yeah.
Because school has started. Yay!
Yeah. Well, we don't have a child under 18.
No, thank God. And if we did, we'd be like, well, I'm sorry, you're ill. Do you need an Advil? Now it's...
Remember when you would send the kids to school and it's like, you're teetering on it. The nurse sends you home. I'll come get you. Otherwise, get your ass to school.
Yeah. And I remember when my mom used to do it to me.
Yeah,
she's like, well, you don't have
That's what I mean.
You don't have a fever and you're not throwing up. So off
Bye.
you go. And you know what's funny is usually you get over it and because you're just tired and you're fighting off the cold.
Yep.
And then like clockwork, Friday, you come home and then you're sick as a dog.
Fight through it.
You ruin your weekend being sick and it's
stupid.
It sucks, man. Probably because of the generation in which we were raised.
Yeah.
I'll speak for myself only. I will not speak for others. My parents didn't take illness very seriously. So there will be times I've talked about this on the show before where I had an ear infection so bad that I actually went deaf. And then my parents finally took me to the doctor and they were like, she can't hear anything. They laughed at me first and then they took me to the doctor. I know it's funny now, but I mean, if one of my kids came up to me and said, I can't hear, I'd be like, oh my God, call 911. It would be totally different.
It was very different.
It was just a different time.
Yeah, for sure.
Where do you think the whole rub some tessin on it? There's a reason. There is a reason. We lived on Vicks Vapor Rub, Triaminic, Robitussin, and Bear's baby aspirin. Was that St. Joseph's? St. Joseph's baby aspirin.
Oh man,
that's it.
Chewable.
That's what we had. Yep. I hated those so much. I'm like, why are they so small? Give me more.
I don't think there was any medicine I ever enjoyed as a kid outside of maybe Vicks cherry cough drops.
Oh, we had Secrets. Those were better.
They were better?
Oh yeah, Secrets were good.
No. What? Oh, the cherry ones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cherry ones is fine. That's fine. Whatever. Cherry cough drops is fine. I thought you meant because the OG Secrets was like
they were
menthol or some shit.
No thanks. Ugh. In fact, when you're sick, you're like, please get me some cough drops. And I'm like, they don't have Secrets anymore? And you know what I hated?
They came in a tin, right?
I knew when things were changing in life, when the Secrets tins became plastic.
Yeah.
I was pretty disappointed. And I'm like, these things are phasing out. They're not going to exist anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe they do, and I honestly have not even looked for them. But you prefer the Ricolas, which I hate, and I
don't like Ricolas.
Those are the ones you buy whenever you're sick.
No, it's not.
You literally have come home fighting something with a bag of
the
Ricolas.
Honey ones,
yes,
the honey ones, yeah.
And I'm like, why?
They feel more powerful. And usually, if I have a cough, I'm stuffy too, so I need something that penetrates.
Super annoying. You mean? Yes.
Super annoying.
Anyway, so welcome to the Ugly Truth. It's Jamie and producer Deb today. And we decided to...
If you haven't figured it out by now, I'm not Stephanie.
Escape the front room to watch the Raiders losing poorly. I cannot with them today. I'm
just hoping that they'll do that thing when we stop watching where they come back. But
I didn't realize Andy Dalton was such a step up for the Carolina Panthers, but apparently it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it must be.
Any given Sunday, right? You beat a great team last week.
You know what?
You lose
it's
to
true.
the shittiest team this week. It's kind of the plight of football.
It's true.
So,
although I'm wondering if Stephanie's not here because we're playing each other on fantasy football.
Oh, she was trying to avoid you.
She's like, I don't even want to see her right now.
Maybe.
But yeah, maybe. So so that's what's going on, everyone. There was something. Oh, I know. We went to a wedding.
We did on Friday.
We went to a Friday afternoon-ish wedding
that
went into the night up in the hills. It was a really pretty venue, I thought.
I liked it.
What I really liked was the bride was in full financial control, so she made all the decisions, and you could see it, and it was lovely. It was so pretty. And the venue was really pretty, too, I thought.
Yeah.
Our daughter was the maid of honor, which, of course, requires us to be heavily involved more than we thought we would be.
Sure.
I'm like, I'm just going to get dressed up. I'll look so pretty. And then I'll arrive. I'll toast the bride and groom and we'll walk out. We'll do our Irish exit and be done with it. Oh no, that's not how this works.
Not when you're related to the maid of honor, because at some point she's got to play a role on that day. So even if you have a wedding coordinator, a good maid of honor is
the wedding coordinator
basically
said, maid of honor, you are now my contact for the wedding party.
Oh, yeah, because...
And not only that, but we delivered the cake.
Oh God.
Because our daughter is a pastry chef. So she basically gifted the wedding cake to the bride and groom. And so we, as a family, a boyfriend went and picked it up.
Yep.
Brought it to our house, and then we gingerly
cautiously delivered it
and
then
we
did
the venue.
we did the DoorDash photo,
like
you drop the food off, you have to take a picture to make sure it was in good condition when you dropped it off.
This is how it arrived. This is how I left it.
That's right.
If it doesn't look like this, I don't know what to tell you. And
of course, not leave it on the doorstep. However.
Our daughter was like, "Can you please send me some good photos?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I took pictures, and she's like, "Okay, can you take it out of the box?" I said, "Nope. Absolutely not.
No effing way.
This is not my wedding cake. I'm not doing that." And it was a really beautiful cake.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
It was not huge, but
no,
because
it was meant for just the bride and groom.
Right.
But what I love, this new trend, which has been going on for a while, and I wish we had known about it. You have the beautiful little wedding cake for the bride and the groom, but then you buy sheet cakes from Costco and you cut those up and you give it to the guests because, frankly, I love those cakes.
Yeah.
They're so good.
The Costco cakes?
Yes. They're like, there was a scene in Sex and the City when they were trying to get Carrie to become the godparent to Miranda's son.
Yes.
And she's like, I don't do church. I don't do baptisms. No. And she's like, please, there'll be cake. And she goes, oh, wait, is it like that really good cake with the super thick sugary icing and the super dense vanilla cake? And she's like, yes, there'll even be a big cross on it. She's like, I'm in. So when the DJ said, hey, there's cake that's been served, you just go in and get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going. Nobody moved. I'm like, I'm out. I'm going. Bye. And I went because I saw those cakes when we delivered the wedding cake.
The sheet cakes were in the fridge where we put the
and they were
cake.
thick white vanilla icing with that super dense vanilla cake. And I was like, I'm standing there trying to find a corner piece.
The only thing that could have been better was if the cake was chocolate.
No. This was perfect. This is the way I like it.
Oh, okay.
If I'm going to have the cake, I'm very Harry Met Sally in this. Cupcakes can be chocolate with white icing, but if I'm doing sheet cake, it has to be all vanilla with thick white icing.
Got it.
An occasional pink and green flower would be fine, but I don't have to have that.
No.
As long as it's super thick. So I found the corner piece.
And
there was
nobody had any wedding cake.
There was a weird piece with somebody's finger in it. So I kind of was like looking around.
Somebody's finger?
Yeah. Like a finger dip, like a thumb.
I was like, I feel like if you found a finger in a cake, it would have been bigger news.
No. And so I'm like, well, no one's going to eat that piece.
Yeah.
So I don't know who marked that one for themselves, but I don't want that one. So I kind of went far back and I found one with the nice corner. And then I walk out and I pass someone, I don't even know who it was, and they stopped and they're like, where did you get that cake? And I'm like, did you not hear the announcement?
Yeah, DJ.
Go get your cake. And so everybody's like, yay!
Wave.
Oh yeah. Everybody's like, where's the cake?
Yeah, for sure.
But it was really fun. I mean, no wedding goes off without a hitch.
Can we talk about the mashed teeny bar?
Yeah.
That was kind of unique.
I will say this. That is the one thing I really liked about this event was
the mashed potatoes?
No, just the fact that there was food available.
Right.
Because there was an inordinate amount of family photos being taken. They did as many as they could.
Yep. The ceremony was relatively short.
It was nice and cool. It was short and sweet.
The pictures definitely took longer than the ceremony did.
But they tried to, like they did photos before the wedding ceremony. And then they're like, okay, now we're doing all of them. And the family, both had large families. They're like, this may be the last time we're together kind of photos. So there was a lot of variety of photos. Of that, it also creates, as you can imagine, drama. Nothing that we were involved in, thank goodness. But family drama seems to just happen at these events.
Sure.
But nothing, I was so pleased that there was nothing significant because with weddings, you just never know.
There's always one more often than not.
Yeah, and there's always one person who decides to go beyond and just be a little too dramatic.
Sure.
There was none of that. No. It was great.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was little spurts here and there.
If there was heightened sensitivity, no one knew. No. I mean, we definitely didn't know because we're not in the family. So it was great. It was so great. But yeah, so there was just a shit ton of photos being taken. But the bride knew that would probably be the case. So she set up a full charcuterie table.
Yeah, like a table.
And a whole spread and then a whole buffet of mashed potato bar. So she bought ton of mashed potatoes and then had a bunch of toppings that you would put.
Right.
And you put it in a little martini
glass. Yeah.
And you eat a little serving of mashed potatoes.
Bacon and cheese and stuff
It was
like that.
great.
Did you notice that, Malia, did you notice our youngest daughter, what she took from the charcuterie?
Yeah, she took a garnish. She took the garnish.
The entire salami rose.
She's like, I said, Malia, I think you just took a garnish. She's like, I did. She didn't care.
She peeled those salami petals off like they were nothing.
They were peppered. You're like, ooh, peppered. But I really did appreciate that she provided a nice buffet of food for the guests, because when you're waiting around that long.
Sure. Oh, and on top of that, I think you said the caterers were a little late.
The caterers were very late.
So the food,
that was
the mashtini
helpful.
bar, charcuterie bar thing,
that saved a lot of
things
people.
Go.
Yes. And what was great, there was like fruit and veggies too, not just meat and cheese.
Open bar, that was nice.
Yes, open bar.
They were good bartenders.
Honestly, I think it was great because a lot of the family preferred beer.
Sure.
And so the open bar was great for people like us, where we just wanted a cocktail, because I didn't really want
Well,
beer.
and I think what they clearly did is they brought a finite amount and said, here is the alcohol you may serve today.
Yes, there was 3 or 4 beverages.
Gone, right? And so
and that was it.
It
was great.
No,
I loved
it. Was
it.
fine.
And I love this new thing where when they do an open bar, obviously you want to tip your bartenders. Now it's all digital, which
Venmo
so
tip.
nice, because it's like, who brings cash to a wedding unless there's going to be like a money dance or something like that, which there wasn't. And then when I even talked to the bride, I'm like, are you guys hitting your honeymoon? She goes, no, we're going to wait. I'm like, okay, cool. So I can just Venmo them on their wedding website. Best thing to happen to the wedding industry. Best thing to happen. And of course, we're sitting there, we're watching our daughter do her maid of honor toast. Literally everyone was crying. Everyone
brought the house down.
Crying.
Did a great job.
I'm like, you and me. I'm sitting there like super ugly crying, and I put my sunglasses on. I'm like, I can't let people see me like this.
Yep.
I'm not even the bride's daughter. I mean, this is not my daughter. I'm the maid of honor's mom.
I was impressed with her. Not that it was comedic, but with her Dave Chappelle storytelling type, which I mean is that she made a reference to the bride being her person and a Grey's Anatomy's reference, and then did her whole speech and then brought it around and killed the whole crowd by saying, now he's your person. And everybody lost it. She did such a good job.
I'm like, Mackenzie. I go, you made everyone cry. She's like, good. I was like, oh my God.
No
it was
one alone.
So
she powered through.
And the only thing wasn't, she couldn't see, nor would she even notice. But I'm like, put the mic closer to your mouth,
and
please.
Everybody could hear her. It was fine.
But you know what? It would actually worked out because everybody had to shut up to listen. And
well,
it was wonderful.
I tell you what, they definitely, I think,
and then the bride had to try to talk after that. She's like, I just want to thank everyone.
I don't know if it's I don't know what the tradition is, but I feel like the best man goes last, or maybe they both don't. Maybe only the best man does a toast. I can't remember what the actual tradition was. I don't know. But thank God Kenzie closed the house, because the best man stumbled through that.
He was really nervous.
He was very
nervous.
Not judging the guy. I'm just saying. I'm compared to what she did.
He even said, he's like, I can't even read the words on my paper.
Yeah.
Like, he was really struggling.
Nervous,
And you know what? Public speaking is not easy. It is so hard. I remember, honestly, you and I both have done a lot of public speaking for meetings, in the jobs that I have had, or that you have. You speak in front of large crowds. And the biggest presentation I think I ever did was I had to go to LA, and I had to present in front of probably 50 or 60 people, and we were trying to win this account. And I had prepared for, like 2 weeks, just preparing how I was going to do this. And my boss at the time didn't want the account. He really didn't. He wanted to he really wanted to lose the account so that he could fire us.
Oh, right.
He didn't want us anymore. Right. He wanted to just move on, because he had taken over our old company, and he's like, I really don't want these employees. So I didn't really care that he didn't want the account. I had worked with a lot of these people, and I really liked them.
Yeah.
They were hard to work with, but it felt really good when they were happy with your work.
Yep.
So I stood up there and I murdered. They were like smiling, and he literally cut me off. He's like, okay, thank you very much.
You're being too nice.
And I'm like, thank you very bitch, because I knew that would be the last time I would see them, because
Yeah.
I knew he didn't want the business.
Drop that mic.
I would have won that business alone with my pitch. It was so freaking good. And everybody's like, oh, that was so good. I'm like, yeah, I know that.
That's
and
awesome.
I was so pissed that and he didn't want it. So we didn't get it, obviously. But I did get a lot of feedback. I was like, I really wish we could have kept you, because it would have been great. But I didn't want to move to Ohio.
Yeah, no shit.
I didn't want to move to Ohio or Oregon at the time. So I'm like,
Although you have since been to Ohio and now you're good.
I
But you
love
wouldn't-
Ohio.
Yeah.
Cincinnati. I
Yeah.
love Cincinnati. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Cincinnati was great.
I think I'm going to end
I still
up.
think about it.
I think I'm going to end up in another Ohio city next year for work travels. I think
That's
it's,
fine.
I think it's
I'll
gonna
go,
be,
but I won't
think
like
it's going to
it.
be Columbus or
I'm just kidding. I don't
Cleveland.
know.
Probably Columbus, but I don't know.
Well, you
We'll
know
see.
what? If I can go, I will absolutely go and check it out. I know
Ohio.
that Cincinnati has weird feelings about the northern Ohioans. I don't know why. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know.
I don't care.
All I know is it won't be snowing when I go. I can tell you
Well,
that right
no.
now.
But yeah, so the wedding brings out so many feelings, you know, because first of all, we haven't been to a wedding in a minute.
Yep.
It's been like, I think your brother got married.
Yeah.
I think that was the last wedding we
It's
went to.
been a decade.
Yeah, it's been
since
a
we've
really
been to a
long time
wedding.
since we've been to
Yeah.
a wedding. So it felt weird to be
Yeah.
at one. I'm like, God, this is so strange. And we're like the old people now.
Or more than a decade. But yeah, it's been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see this girl.
Yeah.
we've only known her since she was 11.
11, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really weird. But I'm like, did you think about our kids getting married now? Because it's like they're at that age,
Yep.
and one of them is getting married next year.
Yep.
But it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're too young, man.
I know.
Aren't we?
I don't
Are
know.
we?
I mean,
I feel too young to have it.
I
don't know.
I'll tell you what, not
Although-
Malia, but with Kenzie getting married, she's older than we were.
I know, that's insanity.
Yeah, because when you put it in that perspective,
I
you're
know.
going, I like the age they're getting married, like that they're planning this
Mm-hmm.
mid-20s kind of thing. Shit, we were down the road, man.
We were already bankrupt by then. We had car repossessions.
Oh my god.
And a gaggle of kids. Yeah, I know. Well, life has changed dramatically since when we were their age.
100%.
It feels like we fast forwarded through adulthood so quickly.
Yeah.
And now we're like, hey, slow down. It's fine. You don't have to rush. You know,
Right.
that's kind of the take I have anyway. It's
Yep.
like, what's the rush?
Right.
You know, we're living a long life. And
We're freaking grandparents now.
okay, you're a grandparent.
No,
I am grandparent adjacent.
Okay.
And you know it.
No, I don't know it. You know it. You think you know it, but
I know what I know. All right. There's a hair on this microphone. I cannot find it. And I'm like, it better not be a chin hair. I swear to God, I'm
like,
going to die.
wait, attached to you or attached to
Like, what is this? I can't. I'm like, you know what? Just get through
Just
it.
get through it.
Power through. You'll be fine.
You could do it.
God, it's the first day of fall. Did you know that?
It is?
Yes,
Why is
today.
it 98?
Because we're in Sacramento and this is the faux.
All
This
right.
is second summer.
They said
We're gonna hit 100 this week.
I think they said there might be 100-degree day this week.
Tuesday.
And then if that once that happens or doesn't, if it gets close, then from there we should not see another one.
I was thinking the other day, tell me why, I do not know, but I was thinking the other day, I'm like, God, I mentioned it to you. I'm like, can you imagine if we had tried for a boy one more time after Malia?
Ugh.
And you're like, they'd still be full grown by now. And I'm like, well, yes, but he's like 5 kids, 5 children. And I'm like,
Is that
I know.
how I sound?
Yeah. Well, when you're saying it like that, yes.
Okay.
And I said, I know,
Just
that's
You
insane.
made me Muttley laugh.
But it's like anything over 3 is a life choice.
Yeah.
That's a lifestyle. That's not, we just have a family. That's
Right.
like, oh, you really went for it. You really wanted that boy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or you're a blended family like the Brady Bunch. Just call me Carol Brady.
The Brady Bunch.
It's
I wonder
hilarious.
if like even our kids get that reference.
I don't know. Well, Tyler probably does because he's so archaic and weird and
I used
old
to love
soul
those
like.
freaking 70s-ish sitcoms, man. Like
Yeah.
Brady's. I liked Three's Company.
Oh my
I
God.
Liked,
My first memory of Three's Company. This
Yeah.
is weird.
Okay.
I don't even know when it was, and I don't even. they had to have been on repeat by the time I started watching them,
Of course.
because this was like the late
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah, I mean.
But maybe I don't know. I had strep. ironically, I too had strep throat. I was probably 7 or 8, and I couldn't sleep because I'd been sleeping. I was really, really
that's
sick.
That's right, because Jeff has strep throat. That's why she's not
I was
here.
really, really sick. Yeah, Chappelle, remember?
Yeah.
And my parents actually took me to the doctor, and I was on antibiotics, but I had been sleeping so much that I was up like all hours of the night.
Yeah.
So I was sitting up. It was like 10:30 at night, and I was sitting on the floor in front of our giant 32-inch screen television.
Giant 32-inch screen.
And I believe my mom was sleeping on the couch because I wasn't being left to my own devices because I was really sick.
Yeah.
And so she was sleeping on the couch watching me or whatever. And I'm watching Three's Company, and John Ritter comes on, and he does a pratfall.
Oh,
And it was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen in my life.
Laugh.
And I was laughing so hard, and it was like knives in my throat. I couldn't laugh, and it was driving me crazy because I'm like, I couldn't. I'm like, I want to laugh so bad. But I just remember thinking John Ritter was one of the funniest humans I'd ever seen in my life. Thus began my love of comedy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, how old is Happy Days? Is 70s? That's still 70s, right?
I think they were all 70s.
Yeah.
And I preferred Laverne and Shirley.
Oh, yeah. Good.
I just did. I don't know why.
I read a story
So
about
funny.
Happy Days, funny enough, the other day, is that it was doing okay. I mean, obviously the show was centered around Ron Howard's character, Richard Cunningham.
Yes, the Cunninghams.
Mrs. C. And anyway, so it was centered around them. And so I was reading this story that Arthur Fonzarelli, the Fonz.
Oh, Arthur.
And, I know why this came up because I just went to Milwaukee, and that's like where that's from. So I'm reading this story, and it wasn't doing that well. Mm-hmm. And then, but this side character, the Fonz, who was supposed to be a side character,
Right.
And I mean, technically he was, but he was in everything, right? So he is hitting it off with audiences.
Everyone loved him.
They're seeing the audiences go this. And so they wanted to, so much so that the first season completed, and they came to Henry Winkler and said, listen, your character's testing so well, we're going to write you in more, and we're going to change the name of the show to Fonzie's Happy Days.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Henry Winkler says, you do that, I never show up on the set again.
What? Why? Because he liked the
he loved the cast and crew. He wanted
didn't want to be the star.
He didn't mind being in the show more, but
he didn't want to be the title character.
No, and to this day, part of that is because that friendship, Ron Howard and Henry Winkler are like thick
we
as
saw them on
thieves.
the Emmys.
Right. So
it was funny because they said there's going to be a Happy Days reunion. I'm like, Potsy Weber's going to be on. I'm all in. Who didn't have a crush on Potsy?
Of course.
We all did. I mean, Ralph Mouth was gross. And Richie was
Donnie Most.
It's Donald now.
Donnie Most. I
goes by Donald.
That's got to be one of the reasons we love Family Guy so much, because
he's our age.
Basically drops all the movie and TV show references.
He literally likes the same stuff that we did because we're all the same age.
100%.
That's why Family Guy is so amazing to us.
Good.
That's why we love it. I do prefer Bob's Burgers currently,
now,
but
yeah.
when I really get into a Family Guy rabbit hole, I'm so thrilled. And they're filming Ted 2, second season. I mean,
the season, right?
Ted season 2, I should say.
I saw a clip from.
I'm so excited.
The Ted movie, which was okay. I think the show's actually better.
Way better.
But
yeah,
the scene, the scene where Ted tells that Mark Wahlberg plays the character. And so he goes, I'm dating a girl from, she's from the South or something like that. And he goes, guess her name. And he rattles off, Tiffany, blah, 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 like this. And he's like, nope. He's like, get the fuck. And he does them like 100 miles an hour. And then he goes, was it any of those names followed by Jean? He goes, yes, Tiffany. That's a really funny scene. I don't know how he memorized all those names. It was a lot though.
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane's pretty good.
Yeah, it was
for Gen X fun anyway.
By the way, our strategy of not watching the game is not working.
Oh, God.
It's not terribly worse than when we came up to record, but it's not better.
Everybody has an off week. I'm just going to assume that it's an off week. I really need this coach to work out.
Oh, yeah, no.
And by the way, even though the Saints lost today, I will never forgive McDaniels for giving up Derek Carr. I'm out of my mind furious. It's still, I'm watching the damage occur continuously. and he's so effing good.
Yeah.
He's good. I don't want to hear the shit about, oh, it's his fault. I'm like, no, he was he wanted to retire as a Raider. And you guys hired that horrible corrupt man.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not corrupt. He's just dumb. Dumb as a brick. He can't get a job. Wonder why. Horrible man. Horrible millionaire sitting on his fat ass, enjoying his weekends. I hate you.
Hey.
You're dumb and ugly.
Before I forget, what shows are you guys doing for the sideshow right now?
Well, we are going to review basically The Golden Bachelorette, which started last week.
Okay.
I reviewed the first episode.
You saw it, yeah.
I did, and it's a lot more interesting than I expected. I expected it to be really cheesy, but the reality is that Joan is a legit woman. There's so many things about her that I watch because if you know what it's like to have men give you attention and they like maybe not in a predatory way, but if they corner you at a party or whatever, women who are constantly well, she's pretty stunning. So I'm sure. And she's always been, by the way, I've seen the older photos of her. Women develop these behaviors that if you're another woman, you recognize immediately that she's like, not only am I not interested in you, I cannot wait for you to shut up and go away. She did that repeatedly while she's having these conversations, but she didn't do it with everybody. And everybody that I thought she would like, she has liked.
Good.
So I'm kind of interested to see how that carries through.
All right.
There is a quote unquote Susan of the house.
I don't know what that means.
Well, in The Golden Bachelor, there was a woman who clearly was not going to get the rose.
For whatever.
She great for television.
Yeah.
Everybody loved her. She even continued on with like a podcast. I mean, like she was a really favorite character or a person on the show. And we have one of those this season. He's a cook, or he's a caterer, I should say. I shouldn't say he's a cook. But anyway, he's going to be fun to watch. And in fact, even in the season episodes coming, they're like, I don't think Jack's here to get a rose. I think he just wants to go swimming because he's always in the pool drinking. And I'm like, well, he walked in, he's like, hey, where's the bourbon? You know, that kind of guy.
Okay, cool. So, well, for those of you listening that like the sideshow too, Golden Bachelorette, we should have our first episode of that.
Yeah, I don't know, probably a couple weeks from now. We're gonna
let a couple episodes get in.
Yeah, because right now we're just meeting all the people. They're already weeding people out very quickly. So, and I don't think these shows last as long. I think they're only like maybe 6 weeks. So we may just do like a compilation.
They don't drag it out as much as The Bachelor?
No. Well, even The Bachelor wasn't very long. They seem to eliminate people fairly quickly, which is lovely. And so, and I kind of like the fast pace because the younger ones are not fun. They're just, oh God, they drag.
They're exhausting.
So I'm very much looking forward to it.
Cool.
Hopefully Stephanie will be back. If not, we will get her back when she is able.
Yep.
And thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.